Hey guys, what's going on? It's BizzyDad here. You there, and happy 4th of July. If you are in the USA, just like me, happy Independence Day. It's a big day with the barbecues and the fireworks, and everything's going to be going on today. If you are not in this country, if you are one of my global subscribers, or if you are watching this video from somewhere else in the world, a big hello. Thank you for tuning in, and hey, go have a beer as well today. Go get a barbecue. Go shoot fireworks if you can. It's just a really fun day. Family, friends, day off from work, and everything else. In the summer, it's good weather here, so jump in the pool while you're at it. We're going to have a good time today. But I am here to recap the Pauper tournament that was online, lackey, just this past weekend, hosted by jruler.net, who did a fantastic job. It really was a lot of fun. I'm going to put a link in the description to, first of all, Jay Ruler's channel. If you are not a subscriber, go check him out. Does really good work. Also, we'll put a link to his website where he goes over the tournament and lists the top 3 decks, which, by the way, your boy, Bizzy, is happy to announce that I came in second place in this tournament, a top 3 finish. So of course my deck list will be on the site with the Gashalog and everything fancy. Does this mean that I have a hand in creating the first ever Pauper meta? Oh, say it ain't so. That would be really cool on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm not really into the meta. I like being creative and just original, but I think that is the strength of Pauper, because if you don't know the format, basic stones only, common cards only. The only thing that is not common or basic is your ruler, and the ruler I use for this tournament is staring you right in the face. One of my loves, one of my favorites, Vlad Tepes. And the good thing about Pauper is it opens up to all the clusters. So Grimm Cluster alive for this tournament. Only a few cards that are banned, one being Reflect Refrain, still persona non grata in the Pauper format. Maybe they will see a return. Don't know about that. The only other card that we saw banned for this was Elvish Priest. All the other commons were up for grabs, and it really was a lot of fun. I met a lot of cool people, got to play against a lot of cool people, and a lot of creative decks. I think that is the biggest draw. I've been talking about it for a while, and then actually getting to play it. It is the biggest draw to the Pauper format, because you have to find ways to be creative and be strategic, aggressive, or defensive with just common cards and basic stones. And everybody that I played did a really good job. I saw so many different rulers and color combinations and got to play a lot of really cool people. Aetherion, one of my subscribers, really great to play him. Guguo12, I hope I said that right. Fortune Lady. Big hello to everybody that I came across in this tournament. It really was a lot of fun. But so definitely recommended, and he's going to do it again. So nice. We're going to do it twice. So there's going to be another Pauper format in August. It's either going to be the 5th or the 6th. I don't know the exact day yet, but that's not for me to decide. Check out Jay Ruler's channel. Keep up with him and his podcast with Sacred Beats, the Maniac, and get all the latest info on that. I will be in as many of these tournaments as possible. I really think it is a lot of fun. But I wanted to go over the deck. Of course, you can see the list on his website, but just to go over it really quick to show you the cards I used and my reasoning behind it. So the ruler, Vlad Tepes, telling you now, zero reason to flip her over. I never flipped her over in this one. I never even thought about it, because her ability is the literal killer, but the deck is built with a lot of distractions and a lot of disruption to disturb our opponent, to take them off their game or make them think or have to do something else. All the while we're building up for Vlad to just kill it, as you'll see. So Vlad Tepes, a vampire ruler. Judgment of 3, 1 dark, and 2 of other. Forget it, never flipped her over. The ability, the gold. Show me the money. For 2, this card deals 200 damage to target opponent. You gain 200 life, so it's pain drain and gain for you. So for every 2, you hit your opponent for 200 and you gain 200 life. It is astonishing how quick the stones build up in this deck, and all of a sudden you are hitting your opponent for 800 and 1,000 while you gain that life. It is completely ridiculous. Just for argument's sake, we'll flip her over. She is Vlad Tepes, 800 attack, 1,000 defense. When the card enters your field, destroy a target resonator with total cost 3 or less, and you gain life equal to the defense. I mean, that's okay, but you lose that ability. For 1 dark and 2, banish a darkness resonator. The card gains imperishable to the end of turn. So maybe if it was something out of desperation where you flipped her over, you don't care if she dies. You actually prefer that she dies. You can give her imperishable and then flip her right back over to the good side, where you could start draining again, and then flip over to judge if you need to destroy it. So again, just desperation, but we never flipped her over. Pauper. So we're only talking about basic stones. I ran 9 darkness stones and 7 wind stones. So a total of 16 stones. We went 9 and 7. My deck was slanted more towards dark, especially with the 1-drops that I wanted to use. So this mix turned out to be the best. I originally had more stones, but then I put it 8-8, and then I decided on 9-7 through the testing was the best. So that was really the best way to go about it. So let's go through the deck. Some will make sense. Others will probably be cards maybe you've never seen before, but I'll go over it. So the resonators, 4 sacred elves. It's a 1-drop. It's 1 green, comes right into the field. It ramps. This is going to rest it to produce green. This helps us in the early game build up some stones to start draining our opponent immediately. A lot of people that I played had ways to deal with the 1-drops, to either just burn it or pop it or get rid of it, which I expected. That's why I ran 4 of these. So while it was out there, it did its job. One time we did get it to attack and do a little bit of damage. So really it was just out there to produce green and give us some will to drain with Vlad. 3 copies of Clockwork Soldiers, a really sneaky good card. So it's a 1-drop machine, void, so it doesn't matter what color, just come right on the field. 300 attack and defense with target attack, which that did not come into play, I don't believe. But it does have a really nice ability for 1. And this card gains plus 200 attack until end of turn. At the end of turn, banish it. And that's okay. We wanted this here to be able to kill anything that didn't fly. It doesn't fly. But also to really sucker punch our opponent for big damage if it was mid to late game and there was no way for them to block the soldier, because we can attack. We can declare an attack for 300. And let's say we have 5 open stones. So we declare the attack for 300. Our opponent has no blockers, takes the 300. In response to that, we rest all 5 stones, and for each stone, we pump the soldier up 200 attack. Now, all of a sudden, that attack is 1,300 to our opponents. Now, at the end of the turn, the Clockwork Soldier has to be banished, but that's okay because it did its job. I wanted this in the deck to be able to surprise our opponent. Just another distraction or another way to hit for big damage. Also, we could block big resonators and kill them off, even though we're going to sacrifice the Clockwork Soldier. That's okay. Somebody's swinging at us with a 10-10. We can block with the Clockwork Soldier and pump him up with stones to make him 1,100 attack as well to kill the resonator. So it's a trade. The Clockwork Soldier is able to hit our opponent for big damage, but then also trade with bigger resonators on our opponent's side. Speaking of big resonators, it's 3 copies of Griffin Racing Across Darkness, the Chimera. For 6, we got ways of getting him out, though. You'll see 1 dark, 1 green, 4 of other, a 12-12 flyer. This is our big beater. It's another big damage dealer, game winner. It flies. When the card enters your field, put the top 2 cards of your Magic Stone deck into your field. So with Vlad, it's a really good 1-2 punch. You get to bring the Griffin in, and then bring in 2 stones, which we can immediately use to drain our opponent with Vlad's ability if necessary. So, hey, just a really powerful card. This deck ramps, so we get a lot of stones in quickly. We can get the Griffin out extremely quick, and then we have more stones to use for yet another Griffin or maybe some of our other tricks. So those are all the resonators. I only ran 10 resonators in the main board. So let's go to spells and abilities. And another part of the deck was discarding and disrupting. So here's 3 copies of Nameless Mist, 1 black to play. Look at your opponent's hand. Choose a non-resonator card. They discard the card. Put a +1/+1 counter on a resonator you control. So we have the elves or the soldiers or the griffin to put +1/+1. at times. Ame no Habakiri is a real pain in the butt addition that is a common. So that while that it was definitely running rampant at times, Nameless Mist was able to go into their opponent's hand, and if I saw that Ame no, it went right into the graveyard. Really good. I was able to do that a couple of times. I'm able to get Seal of Wind and Light, which is a cancel spell, which is brutal that it's a common, but was able to get that, put it into the graveyard as well. So good to just get rid of some cards in our opponent's hand. 4 copies, Scorn of Dark Alice. Really not much to say about this card. 1 dark, look at target opponent's hand, choose a Resonator, they discard that card. So we're looking at big threats. Their biggest Resonator or one that's going to cause the most trouble, just throw it right in the graveyard. Just get rid of it. This goes hand in hand with another card that we're going to see in a little bit as well. But again, 4 copies, I thought it was necessary, especially against big threatening Resonators. 3 copies of Planting Beans. So it's a 1 green chant. Search your deck for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your deck. You can and that's for the 1. You can also awaken it for 2 more. So for 2 green and 1 of other, you go find that card and then put it right into your hand. So this is a really good card to set up a graveyard play, which you're going to see, or if we're desperately in need of a card or in need of something to get us out of trouble, the Planting Beans will just let us get whatever it is and put it right into our hand. So really good utility out of this card. Really glad that it's a common. And we use that all in combination with this bad boy right here, which is Book of Ibon, a 3-drop addition, 2 dark, 1 of other. I ran 4 copies because when this card enters your field, put target Resonator from a graveyard into your field. From a graveyard. So yes, it could be yours or it could be your opponent's. So you use Scorn of Dark Alice, take away your opponent's biggest threat, toughest Resonator, put it in their graveyard. You got 3 on your turn, play the Book of Ibon, boom. You go into their graveyard, take that guy you just plucked out, and now it's in your field. I have Planting Beans. You pay 1 for the Planting Beans, you go find any card, put it into your graveyard. Put the Griffin into your graveyard. Then play 3, Book of Ibon, and now the Griffin comes right into the field, and you get 2 stones with the Enter effect. Cheat, cheat, cheat. That is really, really frustrating. Also for the Book of Ibon, it says that when this card leaves your field, banish the Resonator put into the field by this card. So if they had a way to destroy the addition and they got rid of the Book of Ibon, they don't have to kill the Resonator. Get rid of the addition, and then the Resonator goes too. But it really is a good little cheating combo to get the Griffin out, but it also is a great way to go get our opponent's biggest Resonator and use it against him or her, ladies. But really sneaky, and it came in handy. Yellow Sign. One of my favorite dark cards to play, and in this format, it really is a pain. So it's a 2-drop addition for a Resonator. 1 dark, 1 other. Added Resonator gains -300, -300. At the end of turn, this card deals 300 damage to added Resonator's control. So, put this on any one of my opponent's Resonators that doesn't have 300 defense or lower, because we want to keep them alive for this. And then, not only is that Resonator -3, -3, but when the turn ends, and every time the turn ends, they lose 300 life. They have to take 300 damage. So I would put this on a Resonator, pass the turn, immediately they lose 300 damage if they can't get rid of the addition right away. It goes to their turn. If there's nothing they could do, then when their turn's over, they're losing another 300. And this is going to go back and forth. And I played against someone else who was using Griffin and was able to get 2 of these on them. So when the turn was ending, they had to take 600 damage on top of any stones I had open to drain them with Vlad's ability. Yellow Sign in a Vlad deck is killer. And that's why I ran 4 copies of it. Did really good. And I'm happy to announce that I think I was the only one using cards like this. So good to get them back in the spotlight. 4 copies, Death Sentence from the Queen. This is another really good sneaky card. So it's a standby, 2 dark, put it in your standby area, wait for the trigger. And the trigger is when a Resonator your opponent controls is attacking. That's the trigger. You flip this over. Your opponent banishes a non-attacking Resonator, and you gain life equal to the defense. So usually you get in a situation where they'll attack with a smaller Resonator. The same turn they put a bigger Resonator into the field. You wait for that. You flip over. The death sentence from the queen. They then banish the bigger resonator because that's the only one out there. You gain life equal to the defense, and then you have to then deal with the attack. Usually it's lower. Sometimes you could take it, or if you have a different spell to pop it, you could do that too. But death sentence is really good. And once people see that for the first time, it changes their whole attack strategy because they don't want to be caught in a situation where they're going to have to banish another one of their resonators. So just a slight change in strategy. And I think that it comes in handy. Like I said, it's really surprising the first time. There's one card that I don't actually have physical copies of, and it's called Ambition of Lapis. It's a 3-drop chant, 2 dark and 1 of other. It says destroy target resonator, and its controller loses 400 life. And that came in really handy when I just wanted to get rid of big threats, big flyers, big damage dealers. Somebody that had an Ami no Habakiri, I would get that Ambition of Lapis, just make them get rid of it, and it's dead. They lose that resonator, and then they lose 400 life. And again, just the theme of just whatever I could do to drain them of life and hit damage, all while stealing their resonators and then using Vlad's open stones to drain them. Very frustrating and very tough to deal with. 4 copies of Magic Stone Analysis. This is part of the ramp package, so it's a 2-drop chant. 1 green and 1 other. Search your Magic Stone deck for a non-special Magic Stone and put it into your field. Then shuffle your Magic Stone deck. So you basically can go get a basic stone only. However, it's Pauper format. Every stone is a basic stone. So this card is really good, really clutch card. And it basically just lets me go get any of the colors I needed. There were a couple of games where I was stone locked, even though I had 7 green stones. My first 4 or 5 were green, which were really crazy. So a card like this comes in handy to go, let me get that dark stone and then put it into the field recovered. I could then use it right away. So you get the good combo. You use this, go get a dark stone, and then you could scorn a Dark Alice or put in a Clockwork Soldier or anything else that you might need. 4 was appropriate because I wanted to get as many stones out as possible. Finally, in the main deck is my one of really cool, spicy stuff, fun stuff, and it's Gruus Balesta's secret technique, which I did get to pull off a few times, and it did its job every single time. So it's a 2-drop quick cast. We can do it at any time. 1 green, 1 dark to play. Target Magic Stone becomes a 10/10 resonator with swiftness until end of turn. It's still a Magic Stone. And I use this, of course, we're getting stones out there. So get an opponent to have no blockers, and then they think they're in good shape. Boom, here comes the secret technique. Okay, I'll just turn one of my regular dark stones into a resonator with 1,000 with swiftness, and now just swing 1,000 at your face. And then, oh yeah, with my other 6 stones, I'll use Vlad's ability to drain you some more. Really a pain. One match, I was up on the ropes, about to die, had the secret technique in my hand. They swung for the game, hit the technique, took my 1 open stone, 10/10 resonator, blocked it, and killed their attacking resonator with the Magic Stone. So just a one of. I felt that all the other damage dealing aspects I have in the deck didn't really require any more than 1 of these. However, it would be really fun and really cool to pull this card and then use it. Also, with the planting beans, it's really good. If you have the stones to do it, pay 3, go get the secret technique, and then use it that turn, if necessary, to turn one of the stones into the 10/10 resonator with swiftness to potentially end the game. And that was the main deck. So let's go into the sideboard. And when I was building this, I really was trying to think of all the different scenarios I would run into, all the different answers I would need. And they all came in handy. This was one of my most used sideboards, and I think it's just because of the Pauper format. And the one thing I was worried about were barrier resonators. So I put 3 copies of an Encounter with Cthulhu, which is a 2-drop quick cast, and it says each player banishes a non-Cthulhu resonator they control. So now this would definitely have to come at a price because we'd have to banish one of our own resonators. But I was really looking for situations where we're playing someone with barrier and we can't target them with our yellow sign or our Ambition of Lapis or anything to really just take care of them. If they're going to be stuck out there building up, we need a way to get rid of them, and Encounter with Cthulhu is a good way to do that. And I partnered it with 3 copies of Mozart, which is a 2-drop resonator, 200 attack and defense. But when the card is put into a graveyard from your field, your opponent banishes a resonator. So we get our Mozart on the field, and we play an Encounter with Cthulhu. So we each have to banish a non-Cthulhu resonator. Of course, I would choose Mozart. And when Mozart hits the grave, it says that our opponent has to banish a resonator. So that's a 2-for-1. We had to lose our Mozart, but our opponent is going to banish a non-Cthulhu resonator from the spell, and now is going to have to banish another resonator because Mozart hit the graveyard. A really good 1-2 combo. And again, we're talking about resonators with barrier or protection that we can't get to them with the target. And then for a little bit of insurance, I ran the last drop, which was a 2-drop instant. So for 1 green and 1 other, and you either gain 1,000 life or put a target resonator with total cost 2 or less from your graveyard into your field rested, which is really good because we can just bring Mozart back. And now she's back into the field, and the next time she dies, our opponent's going to have to banish a resonator yet again. It's also a good way to get the Clockwork Soldier, put him back into the field, rested at the end of our opponent's turn, and then we can go into our turn and then swing and then pump him up for really big damage. I ran 3 copies. I only have 1 physical, but I ran 3 copies of Fairy of the Malefic Tree. I wanted some flying protection, and I wanted another option to be able to basically kill anything. And this is a 1/4 flyer for 1 green with the ability to pay 300 life, and this card gains the text of whenever this card deals damage to a resonator, destroy that resonator until the end of turn. So they swing with us with a big guy, anybody big, anybody troubling or meddlesome. We can use the Fairy Malefic Tree, pay the 300 life, and then just block. Doesn't matter how much we hit them for. As long as it does any damage, it's going to destroy the resonator. 2 copies of Elvish Bowman. It's a 1-drop elf. It comes in when you can activate it to rest it and destroy target additions. So if we came up against somebody else who was using the Book of Ibon, you know who you are. Anybody else using that Ame no Habikiri, you know who you are. I wanted something to be able to come in and then just take care of it right away. And getting the Elvish Bowman, we get to activate it, rest it, and boom, the addition goes. Ame no goes into the graveyard. A Book of Ibon goes, and then that resonator goes. So like I said, it was just protection. I actually did get to bring it out. Finally, 2 copies of Absolute Cake Zone. I wanted a little bit of cancel just in case I came up against somebody with a spell-heavy deck. So it's a instant chant for 1 green, 1 of other, and it says cancel target normal spell. So we could basically cancel everything except resonator summons. This was another sneaky little way to stop the Ame Nos from coming in, stop the red burn, stop anything that was going to destroy my Griffin if I got it onto the field. So I had it in the sideboard. If I came up against anybody who was spell heavy, I was able to just side out into it. So guys, that is it. That is the deck that took 2nd place in the Pauper online tournament. And I forgot to tell you the name of the deck, which silly me. It's actually one of my favorite ones, and I named it BizzyVlad. And it did the job. 2nd place in the online lackey tournament hosted by jruler.net. And I want to say to jruler, thank you so much. Again, I had a really good time. To anybody else, if you have lackey and want to get in on the next tournament, check out jruler's channel and get in on it. It really is a lot of fun. Don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. It's all commons. It's really creative, really unique, and it is a lot of fun. Everyone there was really cool. But let me know what you think of the deck, of the format, of the finish, 2nd place, and now Pauper meta. This is unbelievable to think about. Leave me a comment below, like, share, subscribe, you know all that stuff. More videos coming soon. That's it for today. Thanks for your minutes. I'll talk to you soon.